Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I'm back! Did you miss me? I have my 2 Melody Beatty books, and I have my reading glasses, so I am completely prepared for today. And I have my literature group in about 47 minutes here, so I'm really excited about that tonight. And what else? I went to Half Price Books today because I was looking for another copy of the book Drop the Rock, which is the book that we're doing in our literature group, which is about character defects and getting rid of defects of character and things like that. And so I couldn't find mine, and my friend couldn't find hers, so I ordered a copy off of Amazon, and then I was going to look for a copy of hers, but I couldn't find one I went to Half Price Books. But anyway, while I was there, I noticed that there is actually a language of letting go daily journal. Now, it's not something that I would use because it's like a book and it has the meditation in it. And then underneath the meditation, it has like thoughts for the day. But I know that there are people out there that do like to write in books like that. I just prefer to write like in a composition book or a notebook or something like that. So my neighbor just walked by back. I'm like, hi, filming a video over here. Don't mind me. Anyway, so for those of you that might want to check that out, I just wanted you to know that because I wasn't aware that there was actually a meditation book / journal. And she has another book out too, and it's called Don't Be Mean to Me, and it's about self-love. It's like a story of self-love, and I have never heard of hers before. So anyway, in case you are wanting to check out some other Melody Beatty literature. All right, we are in May now, which I cannot believe. It seems crazy to think that we're in the month of May. Summer is right around the corner. Let's get into May and see what it says for today. May 3rd, freedom from self-seeking. Okay, which sounds like a good one. Please free my thinking of self-will, self-seeking, dishonesty, and wrong motives. Paraphrase from Alcoholics Anonymous. There is a difference between owning your power to take care of yourself as part of God's will for our life and self-will. There is a difference between self-care and self-seeking. And our behaviors are not as much subject to criticism as are the motives underlying them. There is a harmonic, gentle, timely feeling to owning our power, to self-care, and to acts with healthy motives that are not present in self-will and self-seeking. We will learn discernment, but we will not always know the difference. Sometimes we will feel guilty and anxious with no need. We may be surprised at the loving way God wants us to treat ourselves. We can trust that self-care is always appropriate. We want to be free of self-will and self-seeking, but we are always free to take care of ourselves. God, please guide my motives today and keep me on your path. Help me love myself and others too. Help me understand that more often than not, those two ideas are connected. It's interesting. What was it today? Please guide my motives today and keep me on your path. Help me love myself and others too. Okay, the two different ones. You know, it's interesting, this meditation. When I got sober, there was this huge emphasis on the root of the disease of addiction is selfishness and self-centeredness, okay? And that I think people often misunderstand that addiction, from my perspective, from a 12-step perspective, right? When you talk about the disease concept and things like that, really the use of substances is but a symptom of the disease, the underlying disease of addiction, which is rooted in selfishness and self-centeredness, okay? So we have, as active alcoholics and addicts, a lot of selfish behaviors, a lot of selfish actions that we take, right? And when you look at that, and you look at the action, you look at the underlying motive to that. What is the motive? It's probably a serving motive. So that's why we often say things like, when somebody is going out and they're doing what they want to do, and it's like the whole idea of I want what I want when I want it. They're doing what they want to do without caring about how other people will be affected, and really not even thinking about how their own life will be affected by it. It's the term we use is self-will run riot, okay? And it's when self-will is out of control. That what you are wanting to do for your life and in your life is just like so self-seeking, and the motive behind it is so selfish that you really don't see outside of that whatsoever. You don't see how you're affecting other people. You don't see how it's affecting you long term. You don't see how it's affecting the world around you, and it's very selfish in nature. But when I got sober, I was told about selfishness and self-centeredness, but I was also told that recovery is selfish, that you have to be selfish in your recovery, by meaning that you have to take, meaning that you have to take care of yourself and put yourself first. you have to be selfish about that, right? And so it was very confusing. I'm like, okay, so I'm supposed to be selfless, but selfish at the same time. And the answer is yes. The answer to that question is yes. That you're supposed to be selfish in your sobriety and in your recovery and in taking care of yourself. So whatever that is for you in your life, okay, let's say if you're not a person in recovery, or maybe you're a person in recovery from something else, you know, whether that's overeating or gambling or shopping or whatever that is, or, you know, I'm trying to think of other 12-step programs, but whatever that is, okay? Maybe, you know, your self-care is going to a 12-step, you know, meetings, or having a sponsor, or working a program, or whatever. Maybe your self-care for whatever you're going through in your life, whatever tough times you're going through, is church, you know, or some kind of religiosity or spirituality. Maybe you're taking care of yourself is having a bath at the end of the day. Or for me, like, I like to drive around and listen to audiobooks. That's self-care, right? I have a right to be selfish in my self-care, as long as that self-care isn't hurting other people, and it's not like, you know, and I have to take a look at that selfishness. You know, if I'm driving around for 15 hours a day and I'm not responding to any of the people in my life and I'm not getting things done that I need to get done, then that's probably self-will run riot. Does that make sense? But I think that we have to be, you know, selfish in taking care of ourselves. You have to take care of yourself. Like, I say this time and time again on here. You can't be good for somebody else if you aren't taking care of yourself first. Like, you do not have the ability to, you know, take care of somebody. I always hear people say, well, you know, my mom lives with us and I have to get her up and get her going, and I've got 3 kids and I'm taking them there, Well, then listen to some music on the way. Make a playlist of music that makes you happy while you're driving everybody everywhere they gotta go. You know what I mean? Or have a little special food in your pantry that makes you happy. When you go to the grocery store to shop for everybody else, you know, buy some kind of ice cream. And then when you're standing there in the kitchen, it literally takes 20 seconds to grab your ice cream out of the freezer and just take a bite of it and just stand there and go, self-care. This is self-care. You know, but you can do that, and it's important. You have to do that. You have to be selfish in taking care of yourself, because if you're not, then you're not good for anybody else, right? So it's important, and this is a really important meditation. All right, let's get into the Melody Beatty Journey to the Heart, and let's see what she has to say to us in this one. May 3rd. Say goodbye with an open heart. On our journey, we meet many souls with whom we interact, exchange energy in a way that enhances our growth and theirs. We learn lessons together. We break bread. We share love. But there often comes a time to say goodbye. A goodbye can come suddenly, unexpectedly, without much warning. Or a goodbye can be expected, planned on, and take a while to work out. The length of time doesn't matter. What matters is how we handle our goodbyes. We can do it with our hearts open. We can do it with our, what matters is how we handle our goodbyes. We can do it with our hearts open, saying thank you for all we've learned, or we can close our hearts and bitterly say we've lost again. We can say goodbye with an attitude of trust, faith, and love, believing our hearts led us together for the first time we were close to celebrate life and further our journeys. Or we can do it with harsh judgment, asking what's wrong with us that our past didn't let us stay together. We can say goodbye with our hearts open, feeling our sadness, our longing, and our joy. Or we can say goodbye with emotions walled off, saying that's just the way life is. Sometimes it's time to say goodbye. We can't always choose timing, but we can choose the words of our heart. And sometimes it's not goodbye, it's till we meet again. This meditation is so fantastic, and something that I have gone through so many times in my life. Whether it is a breakup of a romantic situation, or the passing of somebody, or just somebody leaving our life. Whether it's a coworker that is no longer going to work with us anymore, whether we're going to a different place of employment, or somebody's moving, you know, far away, or just a friendship that is no longer anymore, you know. I love the saying that people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I love that because it's true, you know. And I think when I was younger, I thought the people that were in my life would be there forever, and that if they weren't there forever, it minimized the effect that they had on my life. You know, that if somebody was in my life just for a brief moment, then that meant that they weren't as important as people that had been there all of my life, if that makes sense. And I don't necessarily believe that to be true today. You know, I love the movie Lost in Translation. I actually need to rewatch it. I haven't seen it in a while. With Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. And, you know, they meet like over just like, I think it's like 3 or 4 days, you know, in Tokyo. And they have this profound effect on each other's lives, right? I think also that when friendships or working relationships or family relationships or whatever, like when we stop talking to somebody or say, I'm done with this person, I'm not going to be their friend anymore, I think that, or if it's done to us, I think it feels very personal, and, it's really, really hard, that, like when somebody says they don't want to be your friend anymore, and that took me a long time to kind of understand and get behind. And then I was kind of like, okay, well, I can cherish those moments that I had with this person, and I can say, you know what, I'm walking away from this. And that's why I really, to be honest with you, like that's why I'm such a proponent of, like, on social media, like, if you have an ex, unfollow them on the Facebook and the Instagram. You don't need to know what's going on with their life. You don't need to look at it. You need to keep on searching it out. Just let them go on and live their life, and you go on and live yours. It's painful. It's hurtful. I try to look at those situations and say, you know what? We had an amazing friendship, an amazing relationship while it lasted, and it isn't anymore. And so I wish you all the best. But that doesn't make me minimize. Like when you get to the end of a relationship, like I've had girlfriends of mine that have looked at me and said, like, because it ended like this, the relationship, the romantic relationship, then none of it meant anything. It was all a lie. No, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. Those moments that you shared, those TV shows you watched, those movies that you went to go see, those walks, that you took outside, those trips you took, that was all true. That wasn't a lie. No, don't live in that. Don't live in that believing that your life is a lie, Things just don't always end up the way that we want them to, Not everybody that we're friends with, we're going to stay friends with forever. Not everybody that we're in a relationship with, we're going to be with forever, But I think at the same time, we can bid people for farewell, and say, I bid you farewell, and I wish you the best on your journey in life, and, maybe we'll meet again down the road, and maybe we won't. I will say this, there are people that have come into my life on numerous occasions, and where, have you ever referred to yourself as a doormat? Where maybe I have said to myself, oh, well, like, I let these people back in and I'm kind of a doormat, and, then they walk all over me and then they exit again, and then it's like my feelings are hurt, and then whatever. I don't do that today. And I don't like that term necessarily. I've learned today that I allow people, the way that I am treated is because I've taught people to treat me that way. I don't allow that today. If somebody has come in and out of my life more than once, I kind of look at that situation, I'm like, you know what? This really doesn't say a whole lot about me. It says a whole lot about you. I wish you the best in your life. Maybe down the road, if things change. I had a friend of mine that, like, we weren't friends for like 20 years, and then all of a sudden she just popped up back in my life again, and it's like we talk now like we did 20 years ago. We're different people today. We've grown up. A lot has changed. But I think that there are some friendships that are supposed to end, reason or season or lifetime. And sometimes the ending of the friendship is a lesson that we're supposed to learn, I think, sometimes, that it's important for me to set boundaries with people. It's important for me to realize that not everybody that's in my life today is supposed to be there, and that's just how the world works. I get very, very sad. I've talked a lot about this on my vlog. I have a lot of attachments with, things and people and hotel rooms even, When I leave a hotel room, I'm kind of like, goodbye, hotel room. Something I learned from my dad, So I'm sad when relationships end, and I think it's important to allow yourself to grieve the process of that relationship ending. But at the same time, I think to sit down and look at it and remember all those fond memories that you have, to walk it away and say, you know what, I'm sorry that it didn't work out the way that we wished it would. And this is how I really wish true adults would act, But most adults, I think, get caught up in that. I need to tell you, if you only knew. That I always talk about. If you only knew what this person did to me, if you only knew. And I think that that's the sign of a person that's just, they're not very happy. And so they constantly have to be telling on somebody else, which I don't live in that today, But it's like, if you only knew, right? But imagine what your life would be like instead of always having to tell on somebody at the end of all of your endings, that instead you said, I bid you farewell, and thank you for the time that thank you for the time that you allowed me to spend in your life along the way. And, I wish you all the best. So anyway, wouldn't it be a different world if we acted that way and we could actually act mature like that? I think there's a lot of situations where there is really, really hurt and pain, but if you can say that to yourself in your head, you don't have to look at that person and say that. You can look at that person and say, piss off, I want nothing to do with you ever again. Don't talk to me, period, end of story, right? But in your head, if you could process that, or with somebody else, say, I want to get to the point where I can say, I wish you the best. I know I'm sorry it didn't work out the way that we thought it would, but I wish you the best. So be a different world, wouldn't it? Anyway, let me know what you think about that meditation in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.